Today's video, going to be replacing the oil pan gasket on this 4-wheel drive 6-liter. So this one's a little bit harder than the 2-wheel drive video that I made, just because it has this whole front differential in there. But it's pretty simple. You just got to take off the axles on both sides, the electrical connector, and then the mounts. And then this whole assembly comes down. So let's go ahead and knock it out. This crossmember bar is held down by 4 18mm bolts and nuts. We're going to take off the axles now. This is the driver's side, 50mm. Passenger side is removed. 11mm or 7/16. Now the drive shaft is out. Now we can go ahead and work on the differential. And on top of the diff, there's a little electrical connector hold down. And go ahead and pry that off. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take out the differential. These two nuts are 21mm. We're going to loosen them just to where the passenger side is hanging right before the threads end. And then we'll go work on the other side. 21mm. Alright, passenger side is clear. You can see it's movable. Now we'll go ahead and hit the driver's side and put a jack under the differential. On the driver's side we have this bolt and this bolt right here. Alright, here's the last bolt. Now is going to be the game of lower down the differential without dropping it. Something that you weren't able to see when everything was coming down. On top there's this vent tube right here. You got to pull it off. And then there's 2 more connections onto the differential. So you just got to pop those off. You can see all the oil from everywhere. Hence why we're replacing it. First thing we're going to do is move everything out of the way that goes attached to the bolts. Starting up here in the front, there's a 10mm. We're going to go ahead and pull that out. And this whole harness bracket assembly slides driver's side and then out. Go ahead and pull that out. So we go driver's side, pull it. These transmission cooler lines are attached to a bracket with this sensor, and it's held in by this 10mm bolt. So once we unbolt that, this whole bracket can stay stationary while the oil pan comes out. So now this whole bracket assembly moves out of the way. We're going to go ahead and take off the splash shield so we can get access to the steering rack. 50mm. Now with the splash shield out of the way, we have access to your steering rack bolts and one in here. 24 millimeter. And the last bolt is 19 millimeter. There's one right there. On this passenger side, we're going to take off this dust shield, 10 millimeter. All right, here comes the shield. Now on the driver's side, we have another 10. On this specific truck setup, there's an oil cooler, so we're going to go ahead and take off the adapter, 10 millimeter. Got the gasket from the transmission tunnel to the oil pan, 15 millimeter on the driver's side. I'm not going to be able to get an angle from every bolt, but there's two right here next to the transmission. And down the passenger side, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 right there. There's one right there on the driver's side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on that one. So let's go ahead and knock them out. Alright, we got our oil pan right here. Gonna go ahead and take out the gasket off. Alright, for this oil pan gasket, there's a couple of rivets. One right there, one right there. We're gonna have to go ahead and drill those out. Alright, with the gasket area clean, we're going to put some gasket maker on the mating surface between the front cover and on the back cover. And with that in, we can go ahead and put our oil pan back in. Oil pan bolts are 18 foot-pounds from what I read online. I can't get a torque wrench for these front bolts, so I'm just going to go to what feels like it is 18 foot-pounds. These M6 bolts, 106 inch-pounds. Bell housing bolts are 37 foot-pounds. Alright, your whole oil pan is torqued down. For this oil cooler, got a new gasket. It's torqued down to 80 inch-pounds. Torque I read online is 80 inch-pounds for these. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put this bracket back in. Snug it up, no torque on it. These China cooler lines, 10mm back on. Just snug that one up. We're going to go ahead and put this plastic cover back on. Torque is 148. These bolts right here are 47 foot-pounds. These mounts are 75 foot-pounds. $58 foot-pounds for the axle torque. Couldn't find a torque online that was solid, so I'm just going to go ahead and snug them up. And then finally, we just put our electrical connector back on the four-wheel drive. And that's how you replace these oil pan gaskets on these Sierras/Silverados. Hopefully this video helps y'all. Y'all have a good one.